Hi, my name's Cody. I'm a second-year apprentice here at GROB, and I'm going to give you a tour of our facility today. This area here, this is our machine shop. This is where we'll take our raw materials and we'll put them into our machines, and we'll mill them down and get them ready for the sub-assemblies. Behind me here, you can see the laser. This will take sheet steel and cut it out into the shapes that we desire to be bent into cabinet doors or anything else for our machines. We're now working our way into the electrical area. This is where we have multiple cords and various electrical components, and those will all get sent out on carts down on the floor to be used on the machines as well. Over here is our panel shop. This is where we do all the wiring for our machines. We'll start with a blank slate, put in all the hardware, and then route all the wires. Behind me here, we've got tool changers, tool magazines, spindles, and machine tables, and those are all sub-assemblies built and ready to be put in machines. Right here is one of our machining lines. You'll load a raw piece of material in here, and an overhead gantry will take it from machine to machine and start at one process, and then at the end it will all be done. This line will get shipped out along with employees and be set up in a factory for the customer. Behind me, we've got our standalone machine bases. This is just a good look at the frame of the structure. This is all before we have our electrical components and hydraulics. Here you can see all the components put together on the base of the machine. We've got the spindle, the table, and the tool magazine up above. This is kind of a good look at the inside of a machine, all the wiring and plumbing that's been done. This is our showroom. This is where we keep all of our standalone machines for customers to come in, take a look, and really see how they work. Here you can see this is just a dry cycle of the machine running, so it's not actually cutting anything, but it's a good demonstration on how they work. Over here is our showroom. This is where we showcase some of the products that we've made on our machines. Here is a pretty famous one, the basketball net. That video can be found on YouTube. That was cut on a G350 out of a solid piece of aluminum, and then it was milled down and programmed to have all the little weaves and wires in the net there. Along with that, we've got things like engine blocks and engine heads. We've got transmission parts, and behind me here we've got electric motor parts. So our machines are very versatile and can do many tasks. Behind me here is the spindle room. This room is very critical that it's kept clean and dry. The spindle is a very important part of the machine, and that's where they go to get assembled and tested. Here we're taking a look at our quality control room. This room is actually pressurized to keep dirt and moisture out. That way we don't have any issues when it comes to measuring our critical parts. That was a brief tour of our facility. Now we'll take a closer look in the apprenticeship area and see what goes on. Over here behind me, you can see we've got first-year apprentices. They're working hard in the classroom. doing the book activities. After the classroom, you'll learn some of the basics of manufacturing. So we'll start here at the drill press. Here you can see Sammy's countersinking some holes, and that's a crucial part for making bolt alignments right and assembling things. This here is a entry-level CNC machine. It's only 3-axis, and it's used to help you learn programming without jumping right into a bigger mill. What we're looking at here is a manual lathe. This is one of the first projects that you'll learn after you progress from the filing project. This just teaches you the basics of how a lathe works, how it moves, and how to measure parts and make them precise. Now we're going to go talk to some of the other apprentices and see what they're up to.
Hi, I am Joey Carver. I am a second apprentice here at GROB, and I'll be showing you some of the bench work projects and some of the manual mill projects that we do here around in the apprenticeship area. So this is our bench work area. We each have a certain station with toolboxes. We'll be doing various projects from filing to hand drilling. One of the projects here is our slide project. This is the finished product of what it looks like. So right here is our raw stock material. We're able to take this material and use our skills at the bench work, our manual mill, our manual lathe, and the drill press to eventually end up and turn out the final project. So during this, we are given a booklet with all of our prints and our quality control checks in it. So first we have here is our overall blueprint with just shows you how to put it together and where parts go where. Next is our individual blueprints where we have to follow specifications and tolerances of where we will machine to. And next is, so at the end of when we finish machining, we have a quality control check where we have to measure certain parts of it, where they have to be in certain tolerances. And also, during this entire project, we have to answer key questions pertaining to the project and help us understand what we're doing. That's mostly of what we do around here in our benchwork area. So these two machines right here are manual mill machines. They take many different type of cutters, end mills, drills, reamers up in here, and we clamp down our work. It's able to make any of our parts that we saw over in the slide project. And after each part, we have to take it out and measure it, and then to certain tolerances, and then have our supervisors check it. That is a basic overview of what we do around in the benchwork in our manual mill.
Hello, my name is Connor Hurston, and today I'm going to show you the CNC lathe. This lathe uses conversational programming, and when running this lathe, we learn how to program our tool paths and set our tools. This machine is the G350. This is a 5-axis machine made by GROB. When we use this machine in the training area, we learn how to program using basic G-code manually. We also learn how to set up our tools and find our offsets.
So hi there, my name is Grant. I'm a second-year apprentice here at GROB Systems. We're up here in the electrical lab today. This is where if you go the mechanical or electrical route as an apprentice, you'll come through up here and start working on projects that are more focused towards the electrical path. Right here, we have our factory simulation. This is going to take parts from our fake storage area over here, and it's going to move them through various processes until we get to the end. And that looks a little something like this. All of this was programmed by second-year apprentices. We didn't have any outside help aside from our instructor who answered various questions that we had. So every process that we just saw came as a blank slate at first, and then we programmed it on the computer here. We have it hooked up to various devices underneath the table. And once we go through, we spend roughly 2 to 3 weeks programming all of these various components, such as the motors, some lights, as well as some air tubes for what was picking up the parts. And we program that all together into one big file until the end result becomes something like this. There's always complexity that can be added to it, but this is the main feature that should be able to be done, and it can be done repeatably and very well at the same time. So if you want, we're going to move over here to this cell now. And this is our Fanic robot arm. You can use this in a variety of ways. Out on the actual floor, we have customers that will request specific robots that can do specific things. Here, what it does is it normally picks things up and takes them around this big track, but we've shortened things down to give more of a basic demonstration. And everything can be controlled via this panel here. So if I want to, I can jog to the left and the right. I can go up and down, and I can go in and out. Again, all of this is programmed by apprentices here at GROB. This came to us as a blank slate, and then we took in all of the resources that we learned over the years being built up from our supervisors, and we transfer it to what we do out on the floor eventually, which starts here as just basic training exercises. All of this, from the programming to the wiring itself to the screws down to every last single nut and bolt, is done by the apprentices up here in this lab. And as we transition out onto the floor, a lot of these skills are going to be kept with us, and we're going to use them every day in our workplace areas. So thanks for joining us on our tour today. If you guys want to learn any more information, you can go to www.grobsystems.com/apprentice.